Oh, long games bore Kevin. Okay, not surprising. Okay, that makes sense. I just mean like if he took it seriously, he would definitely be a FIDE master at least. Maybe not international master necessarily, but definitely a FIDE master. Oh, I don't ban everybody when I'm annoyed. It's just little comments. Generally I don't mind.
Welcome back, chess fans. Today I'm excited to showcase Kevin Bordi, also known as Blitzstream. Now, this is Kevin Bordi at home. He's crazy about chess, he's a national masters, and he beats grandmasters all the time on chess.com. His Blitz rating, 2900. In real life, over the board, he has a 2200 rating. Now, I think Kevin is 100% clean, legit player, just super strong. So we're gonna learn from him how to win against grandmasters. And on the stats right there, in the last 100 games he played in March 2024, he won 48 times out of 100 against grandmasters. That's amazing. If you look at the board, he has a Scotch opening. And I'm gonna showcase a game where he wins with white using the Scotch opening. But first, let's watch him against Hikaru, and let's listen to Hikaru commenting about Kevin Bordi. That was 3 years ago.
Okay, let's play Blitzstream. Let's go E3. Let's play Knight F3. Let's play D4. Of course, Blitzstream is a French streamer. Kevin Bordi, I believe, is his name. Very talented streamer. His actual rating is surprisingly low. He's much better than his rating. I think his actual rating is something ridiculous, like 2300. But he plays much better than that from what I've played against him in the past. Now I think C5 is a move, but I'm just gonna play H3 here. Oh, switch scene. Sorry, yeah, sorry. Wrong scene. There we go. I think that's right. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's go here.
A few moments later.
Like I don't feel like I see 1900s, for example, but there are a lot of these like FMs who are really strong at Blitz. Could Alpha Zero beat me down a knight? No. Computers could beat me down 2 pawns, not down a knight though. Okay, I think I'm just gonna go allez. Let's just go straight in. I mean, he has C4, but I just drop back and it should be winning, so I just keep going. Just keep going, H7. And this surely is winning. I'll just move my king up. I don't think this was necessary, but whatever. It's still winning. He finds a tricky move. Like a very tricky move. Wait, what is this? Rook H8 takes Queen D2, King D3. King D3, and somehow he's surviving though. Oh no, actually I can just take and go here. Actually now I get the bind. So never mind. That's good enough. Okay, that's one. Let's keep going.
Le niveau de défense est assez costaud. Et là je vais faire dame à 7 échec. Pour tour prend C1. Et dame G8, roi H6. C'est fou de faire ça. Mais il a pas d'échec. Et j'ai dame C7. Monstrueux la partie. Ah, ça là, elle est monstrueuse. Wow, qu'est-ce que j'ai défendu. Incroyable. Ouais, E6, carré, F6, 3, G7, ça défendait. C'est incroyable. Et KI D7, fou D6, seul coup, KI C5, fou C5, seul coup, dame E5, F6, seul coup. Putain, j'avais tout. Jusqu'au bout. Et là, dame A7, aussi seul coup. Et tour prend C1, dame G8, roi H6, dame F6. Et là encore, roi H5. Bien joué. Wow. La partie de dingue. Mais bon, 28-70, ça parle quand même, hein.
Now, let's go to the chess. I selected 5 games won by Kevin, again Grandmasters. You want the name? This will include Laurent Fressinet, playing on chess.com under Zlatan56. He is a Ibrahimovic fan, I guess. And also GMSrinatan, Indian Grandmaster from Chennai. Let's see how Kevin does it. Here we go. 1e4 played by white. Kevin replies with c5. Playing with the white pieces, Grandmaster Zubarev from Ukraine. This is a Blitz game, played on chess.com, and this is clearly not theory. The main theory will go d2, d4 in a Sicilian Open, but here we're playing a side line. Kevin has no problem playing, and here he decides to go with bishop b7. That bishop over here is looking over there, and the bishop on g7 has also great potential on the long diagonal. So this is a double fianchetto, right? So we keep going, and in this position, very important, Blitzstream plays queen b7. That's a double attack. We're attacking the bishop, but these two pieces attack the pawn on e4. So white plays bishop a5, blacks wins a pawn. In here, Kevin grabs the c2 pawn. At this moment, the grandmaster with white play bishop d5. That is a tactic because we're attacking the queen, but more importantly, we're attacking the rook. Now, in here, Kevin plays queen b8. That's very nice because that way you can try to save the rook. If white were to win the rook, you win the queen. So bishop b7 is played. Now the game goes on. And here, the grandmaster with white misses a clean win. So here, he had to play queen c5. And if you attack the queen, queen f2, and that rook here is doomed. Instead of playing the best move, rook c7 is played. And here, rook d8, attacking the queen on d6. So clear threat. But what's happening here is that we have a fairly important moment in the game. The queen on d6 is attacked, and white has to be extremely careful. As it turns out, there is only one move that white should play here. And can you figure out what should white play? Feel free to pause the video, and if you thought of queen e7, that would be the move played by the grandmaster in the game, but that is also losing a piece on check. Queen b6 is check, so that is not the answer. If you play queen c5, that seems to defend the bishop on b6. However, rook d5 was Blitzstream's idea, and queen d5 is met by queen b6, check again. So in here, the right answer was bishop f7 check. Only move king h8, and only now you play queen c5. So here, the main idea was that in this case, you no longer have rook d5 to deflect the queen. So all in all, rook d8, excellent practical chance, setting up a difficult question for white. So the game goes queen e7, queen b6 checks, and here Kevin blunders. Of course, f7 is attacked, and if you play bishop e6, this is the end of the line, and you are winning easily. Instead, he goes for queen c7, and after check, in here, he's down the queen for rook and bishop. This being said, very resourceful, Blitzstream played rook d7, and we have another double attack, right? So very sharp. Of course, the grandmaster with white finds queen c6, and if you take the bishop here, you're losing the rook here. Therefore, rook a8. But here, I really admire Blitzstream for putting a tough challenge down in material. You down a queen for rook and bishop, but it's gonna put a stiff resistance. And here, the queen has to move. And over here, the grandmaster with white plays g4. That is a very, very committal decision, weakening the king. And the game goes on. And here the bishop is attacked, and the bishop moved to e6, which is a big mistake because rook d1 is gonna be checkmate. On king g2, you simply do rook d2 check, and you finish with checkmate. So black won. Now over here, we were attacking the bishop, white was low on time, but rook d5 was amazing. Why? Because if you grab on d5, queen f8 is checkmate, and white is winning. So again, I will credit Kevin for finding a lot of tactics and fighting all the way to the end. And on a4, a tricky move, finally, white made the last blunder. And it's time to recap game 1, look for double attacks, set up difficult questions for your opponent, and finally, fight on even if you're down the queen. Let's go to game 2. And in game 2, Indian Grandmaster with white also plays e4. And here, Kevin plays d5, his favorite opening with black against e4, the Scandinavian opening. He knows that very well, and we're gonna go quickly through the opening. So far, this is pretty normal for the opening. And the position is completely equal according to the engine. And now, on move 17, we have a critical moment. This is black to play. It's not about winning, but it's about deciding the kind of game you want. Again, a strong grandmaster with white, you want an unbalanced position, right? So if Kevin had played castle, maybe there could be rook ad1, rook ad8, c3, c5. This is completely equal. White has a bishop pair, but black is very solid. Instead, Blitzstream decided to play long castle. And now we have an unbalanced position where black will target the white king, and of course, white will try to attack as well. So here we go, and the game goes on. Very clear, white is attacking, so is black. Kevin has the rooks lined up on the h file, and white attacks by opening by b takes c6. And here, not backing down, Kevin goes for g takes h3. Very difficult, but if you were to look at the evil bar or running engine here, what is the evaluation? 0.00. Despite being a very sharp game, it's still equal. Check. So here, excellent move by the grandmaster with white, d5, attacking. If the queen takes on b7, white takes on g3, and it's not so clear to find out who is better, because white has a threat to come over here, but the king on h1 is exposed, and you can also take on d5. Crazy, crazy game. But on d5, Kevin takes the pawn. Rook fb1, so we can see the rooks here are trying to come in. Black gives a check, e4 played, rook takes g3. Black is up a piece, but check, check, the kings go to d6. And here, white play rook b6, and we have a pin. What does Kevin do? He still fights. And now, we can see that once again, he's down a queen. This time, he has rook and knight against the queen plus 2 pawns. but the kings are all open. This king here is right in the middle of the board, but the king on h1 is definitely not safe. Very imbalanced game, and it's still equal, believe it or not. But white gives a bunch of checks. Check again, the king moves. Check again, the king move. Check on c8, rook c6. Check. And here, on move 46, in this crazy situation, white had to take the draw and play queen g7 check, and the king has to move somewhere. Instead, queen f5 is played. Feel free to pause the video. What would you do here? Well, it's pretty trivial, but maybe we have more time and we're not in the middle of the game, and rook g3 will be winning on the spot. If the king moves, I can grab the queen. So instead, rook f6 is what Kevin is playing. Also a skewer, but the problem is white has a check. Now the game goes on, and eventually the players are running out of time, but Kevin won on time over here. And what would he learn from game 2? Opposite castle to sharpen the game. Kevin was fighting even if it was down the queen, this time for rook and knight. And finally, spot tactics in the open positions. A fork, a skewer, something to bring down your opponent. On to game 3. Blitzstream is black again, this time against an unknown grandmaster around 2800 on chess.com, and he's facing 1d4. So he plays solid, and he played a Slav system with c7, c6. That's something that he likes to do. And now, the beginning, nothing special. Changing a few pieces, castle, castle. So I don't think this is a well-known theoretical position, but it's about equal, right? Nothing special. Let's continue. Queen b3 played by white. What is Blitzstream choosing? He's choosing queen b6. And now is the question for white. Should white exchange the queen or play something else? In the game, rook fc1 was chosen by white. But what if white exchanged? You take back with the pawn. On a move like that, you move your rook. If white takes, you take back. On an a4, you play h5. And on h3, you play g5, followed by king g7, king g6, and you are perfectly fine with the black pieces. So in here, rook fc1 played, sorry. And then c5, the game goes on. And here on move 16, once again, white has a choice. Keep the queen on the board or exchange the queen. In the game, queen c3 is what the grandmaster is choosing. But I think here is psychological, because if you exchange the queen, that's probably the normal move, but white doesn't have much. The position will be equal, and the draw is the most likely scenario here. But white is a grandmaster and wants to win the game, so queen c3, keeping the queens on the board. Rook fd8, b3. And here, Blitzstream is taking his chances, and he goes for d4. An excellent move because white lost time. Now take, queen d2 played. And now black play bishop b4, attacking the queen, queen d1, and bishop c3. In just like 4 moves, the 2 bishops are clearly dominating the board. The pawn on d4 is a problem for white. So basically, white is lost. Instead of going for an equal endgame, white chose to keep the queens, and the middle game is worse. Now, we simply have Blitzstream up an exchange. Is he up to the task to convert? Yes. b5 giving up a pawn, rook ac8, and the queen is coming to c2. Excellent technique. The game goes on for a few moves, And over here, we have checkmate here. That's what white is banking on. But then queen takes g3, exchanging the queens, and that's it. So I think that in this position, I went pretty quickly, but queen c3 was the way to do a double attack and converting. So it all came down to this key moment here. White decided to keep the queens on the board, and it all went down here. What are the lessons from this game? Look to equalize with black. Don't think you're gonna get a huge advantage against grandmaster in the opening. Then psychology, offer the queen trade. Let's white decide what to do, how to fight for a win. And then if white don't make a mistakes, pounce on your opponent and convert into a win. Pretty smooth, pretty great technique by Blitzstream. Let's switch to the white pieces now. And I'm very excited to show Blitzstream win against Grandmaster Fressinet with the white pieces here. E4 is what Kevin started the game with, E5, 93-96, and here we have D4. Kevin really liked that opening called the Scotch. Now we go with the theory, and here the main move that is most often played is C3. But Kevin comes up with a special prep, playing 9b5. Not a new move, but certainly something that black isn't prepared for. Black takes, he recaptures, and now black to play. Now clearly the knight here is targeting c7, which in itself is a fork. However, you have to ignore that, and the best move for black is to play queen h4 check. The reason for it is if you try to play g3, queen e4, you don't care about this and that because you're attacking on h1. So therefore on queen h4 check, theory is king d2, and here, amazingly, black plays king d8. We have this funny situation where both kings are in the d file and can no longer castle for the rest of the game. But instead, in this blitz game, black retreats the queen. Logical, but not the best move. Right away, queen g4, attacking g7, and from g7, we are threatening rook h8. So in here, what happened is black played g5. That is not the best move. King f8 is logical, but hard to find, and g6 is also logical and probably better. But here, g5 is played, on which white develops the knight. And here you may think that black has h5 and the queen doesn't have a lot of space, but queen g3 is perfectly fine. On h4, you can give a check, and if the king goes to f8, you come to d6, and if the king moves to e7, you grab the pawn. So in other words, over here, if h5 doesn't work, then g5 doesn't make much sense to me. d6 played, queen h5, the game goes on. I'm gonna continue the game, fourth castle, and in a nutshell, this move g7, g5, it's weakening a lot of squares. In particular, weakening all the white squares, right? So then we go on. Queen h3, tricky move. If black is trying to play long castle, rook takes e5 wins a piece for white. So here, queen takes b2, and Kevin gives up a piece. Rook b1 and rook b7, and this is definitely dangerous for black. Is it sound? Probably not. If you had a chess engine or you have a lot of time, you can probably be better with black. However, it's very difficult to defend, and black tries 97, which is okay. Rook takes g5, and here the big mistake is knight g6. Feel free to pause the video. What would you do with white? And the answer is the very nice rook takes g6, pocketing a piece. On queen e1, you play bishop f1, and you're fine. On f takes g6, you play queen e6 and check, followed by checkmate very soon. Finally, if you take with a knight, queen d7, followed by queen f7. Unfortunately for white, rook takes g6 while winning on the spot wasn't found, and white played rook f5, rook g8, and this is another blunder by black. This time, Kevin is up to the task. What would you do here with the white pieces? Feel free to pause the video, but the answer is the rook sack. Amazing, because on knight takes f7, queen d7, also queen e6 works, and you finish on f7 with checkmate. After that, the game is 1 for white, and in here, knight f8 was black move to cover the weak squares. Once again, feel free to pause the video. White to play and win. In here, Blitzstream played the brilliant rook sack, rook f8 check. If rook takes f8, queen e6 check, and this is game over very soon. And in the game, black took with the king. However, white played queen f5 checks, and the end is around the corner. King e8, queen e6 check, king f8, and here queen e7 was checkmate on move 26. Not only did Blitzstream win, he had checkmate on the board. So now I like to wrap this up with a takeaway. Take your opponent out of the theory very early. That was the move 9b5. Set up difficult questions, positions which even if the sack is not sound, try to make your opponent find the only move. And finally, spot tactics, especially in the open positions. So that's what happened toward the game. Even if Kevin didn't find the tactics every time, at the end of the day, he was able to find checkmate. So that's an amazing example. Let's see one more. And for our final game, 1e4 Blitzstream against the Grandmaster rated 2941, or 100 points higher than Kevin. This being said, amazing game, e4, e5, knight f3. Are we gonna get a scotch? Not today, because d6 is a Philidor defense. Now I'm gonna go fairly quickly in the opening, because by now we know that it's not really advisable to try to win quickly against Grandmaster in the first 10 moves. That will not fall into any easy trap. But now we go, and what do we have? We have opposite side castle. Long castle for white, short castle for black. So here it's about who's gonna be the first one to land the blow, right? To attack the king. It's not a positional game. It's a very open-ended game where each side is trying to get to the opposite king. And why do I like white here? White has the two bishops, right? And the two bishops are ready to attack the black king. Now the game goes on. Of course, black is trying to open up the line. And here, before going back to the king side, Kevin plays b3. He doesn't want black to take on b2 and start to come in with the rook on the file. And what's next? Our bishops are well positioned. The rook on h1 looks nice. Queen g2. So the queen here, you can tell, is aiming at getting closer to the black king. Queen d7 here, h5, bishop f8. Let's pause right here. This is white to play. Feel free to pause the video if you have to. And here Kevin launches the attack with a bishop sack. Of course, black has to take, because if you go to h8, h6 would be winning very clearly. Now the king takes, and queen c2 is what the computer is recommending because of the check here and here. You are winning on the spot. If the king retreats, h6, and we're trying to open up here, and we are winning. Now, on h6, you can try to do f6, but we're going to take over here. And on h6, if you try g6 to close down, h7 is checkmate. So queen c2 pretty much wins on the spot. However, Kevin went for g6, also an attacking move. The king retreats. And what was the follow-up? Well, h6. Very dangerous attack. Black defends correctly by trying to close down the file f6 played. Kevin continues and sacks a second piece. Here, of course, you cannot take with black because these two pawns would move ahead and win the game. However, queen f5 is a defense and attack move in the same time. Bishop retreats, and here black had to find the best move. What would you do if you were playing black? Well, the key here is to continue the attack, the counter-attack for black, and give a check over here. If the king moves to b1 or c2, we have queen e4. Attack the king, attack the queen, we exchange the queens, and we're out of the woods. Now you may say on queen f4, what about if rook d2, right? And here you can simply play rook e3, and if white attacks, you are counter-attacking like that. And on king d1, you play bishop g7, you're up 2 pieces, and there is no checkmate for white. So over here, Kevin was very close to lose on queen takes f4. Instead, black decided to take on h6. And now, pretty straightforward, g7 of course, bishop moves, rook h6, threatening to come all the way to h8, queen f4, sounds good but it's too late. What does white have here? Bishop d2, attack the queen, protects the rook on h6, queen d4, trying to attack, but this is too late. Queen f3 check, queen h5 check, rook e8 here, and on king d7, queen a5 check, and white won in this position with two queens on the board, and queen e6 gonna be next. Now I want to point out on rook e8 here, the best move was to take back like that, but rook e1 would win, and after bishop e5, bishop g5, and here you would win like that. A bit complicated, but basically this position was lost no matter what, and black didn't put a lot of resistance, and the game ended simply with two queens on the boards like that, and checkmate on the next move. So once again, amazing game. And what are the takeaways in here? We were looking at opposite castle. We play long castle with white, attacking on the wings. There was tactics with bishop h7 and sacks. And then, even though Kevin didn't find the best moves, he continued to put pressure to attack, and eventually black cracked under pressure. Very clean win with the white pieces. And that concludes this video. Fairly long, but I hope you enjoyed the various ways that a national master and streamer is able to give grandmasters a run for their money online. And I'll see you in the next one.